So
Yes.
you should start your session now. And one more thing is mute your YouTube video. Otherwise, some reason will
Sorry, ma'am.
mute your YouTube video.
Okay, okay. Mute.
Start your session.
Echo.
Okay. So, sure, ma'am. I've done that. I've done that.
You are live. You are streaming live.
Okay. So, a very good afternoon to each and every one of you. So, a very good afternoon to each and every one of you is present over here. So, today, ma'am, I'm not. There's some problem over here because I'm not able to. The voice is echoing. Okay, so a very good afternoon to each and every one of you is present with us. So today, first of all, I would like to tell every one of you that today is the World's AIDS Day, and this is something which we have been this marathon is conducted because of that, and I want to tell each and every one of you that the main focus of this marathon is to spread awareness about AIDS. So we have come up with this small session today, and we'll be talking about AIDS today. So there's a small documentary regarding that, and it's a documentary which doesn't have an audio. So I would like this is a only documentary. So I would like to just see the documentary. Okay, so we'll be shifting on to the presentation which we have today. And today we are celebrating the World AIDS Day, and for that we have collaborated with Vardhan and with Bringle Academy and all and Crazy Wacy. So that was the video was all about the AIDS fact which are uh, in the whole world, but talking specifically about India today. So if we talk about India today, India has the third largest HIV epidemic in the world with over 2.1 million people living with HIV. So, in today's session, we'll be talking about HIV and AIDS in India and how is it affecting the Indian people. Because this is the fact which is very less known to the people, but it should be catered to the most extent. And it is a very that some facts would be might hurt you, might distress you. So it's really important for us to know what all things are happening around us, and we'll be doing that in today's session. India's epidemic is concentrated among key affected populations, including sex workers and men who have sex with men. Compared to neighboring countries, India has made good progress in reducing HIV infections by half since 2001. We have 88,000 new HIV infections every year. Also, 69,000 people in India have died because of AIDS. Overall, India's HIV epidemic is slowing down between 2010 and 2017. New infections declined by 27%, and India's AIDS-related death more than halved, falling by over 56%. However, in 2017, new infections increased to 88,000 from 80,000, and AIDS-related deaths increased to 69,000 from 62,000. I would like to tell all of our viewers the source of this report is UN AIDS data 2017. In 2017, 79% of people living with HIV were aware of their status, and of whom only 56% were got antiretroviral treatment. The proportion of people on ART who are virally suppressed is not reported. Now, I would like to tell you all who are the key affected populations in India from AIDS. In 2017, an estimated 1.6% of female, first of all, the first category is sex workers. In 2017, an estimated 1.6% of female sex workers in India were living with HIV. Although these figures varied between states. For example, prevalence female sex workers is estimated at 7.4% in Maharashtra and 6.3% in Andhra Pradesh. Although sex work is not legal in India, but associated activities such as running a brothel are. That's an irony of an Indian government. This means that police are often hostile towards sex workers at the best, and the authorities justify routine brothel raids. Sex workers are one of the high-risk groups targeted by Indian National AIDS Control Organization, which is NACO, who program successful peer-to-peer HIV interventions. In 2015, NACO reported reaching 77.4% of sex workers with HIV protection activities. So Indian government is also trying its best so that it can reduce these AIDS affected people number, as well as it is trying its level best so that it can reach out to more and more people and it can help them. Sex workers being one of them. The second category being men who have sex with men. So this is something which a general man doesn't talk about to the normal person, because we feel that if we talk about these things, the other person might judge us, but that's not the case. These are something which are perfectly fine, and these things need to be talked about, because if we don't talk about them, we'll not get to know about them. Okay, so talking about our second point today, around 2.7% of men who have sex with men in India are living with HIV, of whom around 65% are aware of their status and 35% aren't. HIV prevalence varies between areas. A 2015 study of men who have sex with men conducted across 12 Indian cities found that 7% were tested with HIV. Just under a third, 30% of those who have reported having anal or oral sex with a man in the past 12 months. In 2018, a study was done and it was analyzed that unsafe injecting a sexual risk behaviors among around 20,000 Indian men who inject drugs. Results suggest that beginning drug use at age of 25 or above, engagement in drug use or for longer, injecting 3 times more a day, sharing needles and syringes, and self-reportedly sexually transmitted diseases are the main cause of HIV. Now, I would specifically want to focus on this third point because this is something which is a very distressing fact and a very disturbing fact in Indian scenario. Because as I mentioned, that a study told around 20 the youth who is 25 years of age and they start indulging themselves in drug activities, which is not at all right. It's because of these activities of them they get these diseases like HIV. HIV also spreads because of the syringes and sharing needles. This is something which should be kept in mind when you are going anywhere, when you are in the hospital. If any of your loved ones is affected from like is getting treated because of something, you should take care of these little small things because that is something which we don't bother a lot, which don't bother us a lot. But if these things are ignored and if these things are not treated carefully, it might result into a big loss. So it's my request to each and every one of you to make sure that these things are kept in mind each and every time you go to a hospital, and you should buy a new syringe every time, a new needle every time. So our fourth affected people in India from HIV are transgenders. So recently we all of us heard a news that 377 was cancelled under law. But honestly speaking, 10% of us, like even I am not even counting those 10% who were actually acceptable to the fact that the other person sitting right next of us or with us is a transgender. We all were celebrating that yes, the section 377 was cancelled. But just answer it honestly. How many of you were actually happy, and that how many of you actually decided that yes, you support a transgender for the rest of your life? Posting stories on WhatsApp, on all your social media handles is one part of a story. But if we talk about a real scenario, if we meet any transgender person, we corner them, we try to run away from them, and that's where the other person also feels shy and doesn't want to talk to us. This is something which really is very sad and which should not be done in any circumstances. So fourth one being transgender society, which is affected from HIV up to a lot extent. The last one being migrant workers. Research worldwide has linked that migration to increase in HIV transmission. There are an estimate 7.2 million workers in India, of whom 0.2% are living in HIV. NACO categorizes groups of migrant as a bridge population, as they form link between an urban and a rural areas, and between groups that are high and low risk of HIV transmission. HIV testing among these groups remains low, standing to 11.32% in 2016. So these were the people who were affected from AIDS in our society, and these are like I would like to tell you what has been the trend in the past years and what is the situation now. So in 1998, we had around 3 lakh people who were affected from AIDS, and I really feel happy that these numbers are decreasing every year. So every year these numbers have been decreasing, and it's because of government having various HIV prevention plans. In 2017, 88,000 people in India were newly infected with HIV. The majority were men, who accounted for 50,000 new infections. There were 34,000 new infections among men and 3,700 among children. Imagine, imagine how can a newly born child can be affected from AIDS. It's because we aren't aware of it. It's because we don't want to talk about it. Okay, so and the most recent program is NACP4, which has been extended to 2018, aims to reduce annual new HIV infections by 50% through the provision of comprehensive HIV treatment. So, a key component of NACP4 is the prevention of new HIV infection by it reaching 80% of the key infected populations. The targeted interventions are implemented on the premise that prevention of HIV transmission among key affected population will also lower HIV transmission among the general population. For example, targeting interventions towards female sex workers and their male clients, who will help reduce the risk of the clients transmitting HIV to their regular sexual partners. How it can be done? It can be done by uh, increasing the condom supply, condom availability, and their use, because we are very shy if we talk about the things like this. But it's really important and necessary for us to increase the condom availability and its use in India, because that is something which will help us to control our population, as well as it will reduce the HIV infections in India. So the next thing which we have in our agenda today is, why is HIV still existent in India? It's because of these 4 reasons. The first one being HIV education and approach to sex education. As I have mentioned, that today we don't want to talk about HIV. We don't want to talk about sex education. Even if when we go to school, when a 10th grade student has a chapter in his book relating to sex education, it kind of makes us awkward when we go to our parent and talk about it. It makes the parent awkward, but that should not happen, because if the children are not taught about it in their basic schooling age, how will they go how will they go and tell everyone about it? How can they make sure that these things don't happen in the future with them? So we have a certain stereotype which we have to break in our society, that sex education is wrong. But honestly saying, sex education should be made compulsory in India on all the level of education. So this is the reason why NACP 4 program has been launched in India, and it aims at reducing the HIV infections by 80%, and it has been doing really great, as we can see from the facts. The second one being mother to child transmission. So as a, to if we go on to the backside, like if you see the first lot, 0 to 14 years of age of children are also affected from the HIV. So this is where the third point comes into the picture: mother to child transmission. Because a 1-year-old child cannot get an HIV because of a sexual relation with anyone. It's because he or she was transmitted the disease from his or her mother. So the Indian government is committed to eliminating the HIV infections among children, and for this they have come up with a program which is prevention of parent to child transmission of HIV. This was started in 2002, and as of 2017, there were more than 23,400 sites offering prevention of parent to child transmission services. Based on 2013 report of WHO, the program initiate antiretroviral treatment for all the pregnant and breastfeeding women living in HIV, regardless of CD4 count or stage of HIV infection, so that we make sure that the, the child which is born is absolutely healthy and it is not affected from AIDS. In 2017, 60% of pregnant women living with HIV received prevention of parent to child transmission services. The fourth one, pre exposure prophylaxis. So, this is a daily course of ARVs taken by HIV negative people to protect themselves from infection. So, people might think that they'll take precautions only when it's our Indian tendency that we take precautions once and when we are affected from something. From something, if we are not feeling good, we don't take medicine at that particular time. We wait for the situation to get worse, and then the time when we go to the doctor and we are take the medicine. So this is something which is making sure that all the HIV negative people get they get these courses, and we can control this disease. As of 2018, a demonstration project and a feasibility study was being conducted with female and transgender sex workers. Up to 700 people are accessing PREPs through this project, which should reach up to 1,500 people by the time and the project ends in 2018. So these were the reasons why AIDS is like we have so many AIDS affected people in India. So the point here comes now. How can we contribute at our end? For this reason, ISEC in Navi Mumbai, in collaboration with Vardhan, is doing a run for AIDS on 9th of December at Terna Engineering College. I would request each and every one of you who is viewing us today to join us for the same, because as I mentioned that India has been continuously decreasing the HIV AIDS affected people, but this is not the end. We want to take this movement ahead. We want to spread this movement ahead. We want to share it with each and every person who is living with us, and we want to make sure that people who are affected from HIV are uh, not shy, and they are made sure that they are comfortable. They are made sure that we make sure that they are confident in when they are in front of someone else. So, talking about Vardhan, first of all, so I would like to tell you all a brief introduction about Vardhan, first of all. So, LAC Vardhan is an organization wherein professionals are working together to challenge the status quo and establish a sustainable framework for betterment of the society. Their vision is to build a world based on dignity, where every human being has the same opportunity. Basically, they teach people to fish rather than giving a fish. With that, I mean they do not give them the hope, they give them the souls to earn. Vardhan also supports individuals and organizations with the tools, networks, and technical assistance and strategic guidance needed to succeed, and are helping us to empower the needful. So, this was all about Vardhan, and for this marathon, we have also collaborated with Pringle Academy. So, the platform which we have right now, which we are able to interact, I am really thankful to Pringle Academy for giving us this platform, because it wouldn't have been possible for ISEC in Navi Mumbai to conduct this marathon and reach out to more and more people without the support of Pringle Academy. It's because of Pringle Academy that we are able to reach out to more and more people, and we make sure that our voice reaches to more people, and we spread a word. We have also collaborated with Crazy Wazy for our marathon, And Crazy Wazy is providing healthy meal packs to our runners. So I would like all of you to go and check our event on Insider. We are on TowScript, we are on Facebook also. So you can buy the tickets on Insider, you can buy the tickets on TowScript. There are three categories of the tickets. The first one being the entry pass, which will give you an e-certificate from ISEC in Navi Mumbai, will give you a food box, will give you a t-shirt. In Crazy Wazy Pass, we have a healthy meal pack for the runner, which will be provided on the event day. It has very delicious and very healthy meals which you can customize on your own. So you tell us what you want and we customize it for you. And it's 100% pure veg. The third pass being the Skills Vardhan Pass. In Skills Vardhan Pass, we'll be taking your fingerprints and we'll be giving you the skills profile of yours. By skills profile, I mean that we'll give you a report in which you'll be knowing about more about yourself. It will give you a direction as to where you should go and which courses you should pursue in your future. It will give you a more holistic view of your career and of yourself. It's very simple. You just have to take your fingerprints and it's not age bounded at all. Even a 10-year child can get its skills profile done, and even a 60-year man can get its skills profile. You just have to buy the Skills Vardhan Pass. That's it. So I would request each and every one of you to go to the Insider and buy the Skills Vardhan Pass, because it's something which is not only helping you, it's also helping the AIDS inmates, because Vardhan has taken an initiative that with each Vardhan Pass which you purchase, Vardhan would be helping an AIDS inmate and would be making sure that in the future that aid inmate is getting a job and it's getting a skills profile of theirs, so that in the future they may go out and they may pursue the career of their own, which will help them to earn a living. As I mentioned, Vardhan doesn't give you hope, it gives you the platform to raise and learn. So yeah, that was it from my side. I would like to know if we have any questions from the YouTube session.
None as yet, yes.
Okay, so
We have a lot of hellos to uh, the YouTube channel,
okay.
but there are no questions as yet.
Okay, so one thing which I want to clarify here, that this run for AIDS is happening on 9th of December, and it's in Terna Engineering College at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I would request each and every one of you to join us for the same and to spread a word about this, and so in your friends, in your families, in your relatives, so that we can reach out to more and more people. I would request each and every one of you to buy the Vardhan Pass, as it offers you a lot. It offers you many things, and it offers you the skills profile which you can use in your career. It's not only benefiting you, it's also benefiting the AIDS inmates. I would request each and every one of you to buy Vardhan Pass. Also, you can buy the Crazy Wazy Pass, which will give you a healthy meal pack on the event day, so that you are all perfectly fine and you have that energy to run on the marathon. So I would like is if there is any other question.
None.
Okay, so as I mentioned that we are present on Facebook, we are also present on Instagram. So you can go and click on Vardhan for you Instagram page. You can go on Pringle page. You can go on ISEC and Navi Mumbai's page as well to see all the discussions which are going on, and we post each and every day about different things. As to last day, like yesterday we had the story of Freddie Mercury, who was affected from AIDS and who died because of AIDS. So these are the things which are to be kept in mind, and we want to make sure that we spread awareness in the society and we make people more and more acceptable to the fact, because honestly speaking, if we are not aware of it, we will not do anything about it, and the change comes from within. So I would request each and every one of you to wake up early on 9th of December and join us for this run, so that even a small contribution from your side of waking up early in the morning, it's a Sunday, wake up early in the morning, join us for the run, and see what change we are making in the society. Okay. So with that, I would like to end our session over here, and I would really request each and every one of you to spread a word about this marathon and join us for the live session as well. Yeah. Thank you so much. That's it from my side.
We are having one query, Yash.
Yeah. What's the query?
Uh,
But please, talking where is crazy located. So there's one in Thane, and yes, Zomato would be having the.
Yeah. So, Balpreet, I would like to answer that. We have a crazy basic outlet in Thane, and we have also an extended outlet in Hiranandani complex in Thane. We are also present on Zomato, so that you can go on Zomato and order whatever you like. Yeah. Also on the event day, we would be having a stall of crazy veggie where you can go and buy the crazy veggie meal. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank.
Any other question, ma'am?
No, none.
Okay. So I think we can end the session over here.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for joining us. We'll be coming live again tomorrow, and I would love to see more participants, and I would request each and every one of you to get at least one friend of yours in tomorrow's session with you, so that we can reach out to more and more people. Yeah. Thank you from my That's it from my side, and thanks a lot.